Hello and welcome back to another episode of Faithful to the Traitors. I'm Ben and I'm here in my black tux suit for our special dinner party.
I'm in my little red dress and my high heels, and I've tied my hair back and I'm ready for the dinner party too. No round table tonight, and I'd like everyone to know also that I'm still a faithful. I've not yet been persuaded by those evil traitors to join their team, although now I'm more tempted to join them, since if you don't join, you're going to get murdered.
Well, yes, we did say that on the last episode, didn't we? We said, Alex, you are maybe being a little bit silly here.
Alex, I felt so bad for a poor old Alex tonight.
I know.
It's
Both
like,
of them, I didn't want either of them. At the moment, I don't want anyone to go either. I just want it to stay as it is at the moment. I quite like the team that we've got, but
yeah, I know they kind of whittled them down to a nice group, and it was shown tonight as well because the fact
it's
that
getting harder. Yeah,
they were it was getting harder, but also they had that lovely dinner party, and they had made their speeches, and they all said how much they love one another, and you know how. You know, it's nice to be out the house. Andrea likes being out the house, you know, otherwise she'd be sat at home all night just kind of mollycoddling a cup of tea and a digestive biscuit.
Exactly. But she'd rather be getting murdered.
She'd rather be playing a nice parlour game of murder, and that's what she's doing right now. But it was so I can only imagine how much of a relief it must have been for the group to be told we're not doing a round table tonight. No one has to backstab, and then for Claudia to come,
have a nice party,
and Claudia then to come strolling in and saying, "Right, now you have to tell everyone who your favourite person is." It was like choosing teams again, wasn't it? It was like being at school and having to choose your team. And poor old Maddie was the odd one out in the end. But then did she put it upon herself because she let out a little secret tonight, which
I was like a homeless woman in EastEnders.
Was she?
She hasn't
mentioned
Maddie in
EastEnders
apparently, and she lost her womb in she had no womb
in EastEnders.
She had no womb in Casualty, I believe.
Yes, that was it. Yeah,
that's it.
She decided to tell everyone over breakfast, didn't she?
Well, no, she told a select number of people, including
before they
Maddie,
even came in,
Amanda, that her secret, and she felt like a big weight was taken off her shoulders. But because she didn't tell everyone in the group, she didn't do it like a big announcement, like what Alex had done in the past, or other people have done in the past, or Tom, which is the best one, the red breakfast.
Well, we all saw how that turned out. So Maddie maybe thought, let me do it half and half. Breakfast.
Yeah, but then
board.
Like a good holiday to Europe. It kind of just then the truth kind of got twisted a little bit. I mean, Amanda did relish in the fact that she was able to kind of like twist the truth a little bit, like more.
Yeah, planted it.
And she was the one who kept repeatedly. She repeatedly kept telling everyone, it's like, yeah, she was in EastEnders and Casualty. Yeah, she was in EastEnders and Casualty.
Amanda kept saying it.
I was like a homeless woman in EastEnders.
True, Maddie did say it a few times. Yeah, she did drop it. She dropped it like a bomb now and then, didn't she? To be fair to Maddie, we heard it more than the rest of the group had heard it, because she said it on a few occasions to camera as like a talking head.
Room.
In the diary room. Yeah.
Yeah, but I did think it's like, did you need to tell everyone that you're an actress, or could you have just kept that and not bothered telling them? Because it messed things up way more than it needed to. Like, she could have just carried on being Maddie, the whatever her job was. Was it
the wombless woman from Casualty? No, she.
I was like a homeless woman in EastEnders.
I keep forgetting. I think she did it because she felt like that the group was slipping away from her, and it was a way of bringing them back in to trust her.
Yeah, look how truthful I am.
Yeah,
I'm going to now tell you the truth.
But it was very much like Tom saying, like, we came in and we lied to you. And I think because Tom's was such a big deal and it made the group fall out so hard, I think with Maddie's truth, it wasn't quite so bad. But unfortunately, I think if it had been a round table, I actually genuinely think Maddie would have been gone. I think Maddie, but because it was the way it was done tonight, where there was no round table, Maddie was able to redeem herself when she was given then a chance of banking and leaving the show. But I don't think the amount of money that they were offering Maddie would have, or anyone, I don't think would have persuaded them. No. £3,000 I don't think was enough to persuade someone to leave.
Because Claudia made So he was like, "Who wants to go first?" And Amanda went first, and then
Hands straight up.
me. I'm used to murdering everyone. And they had to sort of go one by one. Who do you trust most? And they was like whittled them down around the table, didn't they? And it landed. Maddie was the last to be picked, like at PE on sports day.
I know.
And so then Claudia said, "Well, this is your offer. You can just exit the game." But like you say, what was it? £3,000
wasn't enough. I think that was a bit of a misstep by I'm telling the production how to make the show now.
Make it better.
Improve it, please. I think 10,000. You said £10,000, but I even think that wasn't. I would have said, and they should have said it comes directly out the prize pot as well. So that would really have stuck the dagger in them as well. I think they should have made it £20,000. Because I think that would have been. I think that would have been a real persuasive move.
I'm saying if I was there and it was like £3,000, it's like I might as well just stay in, because she also had the shield. So if she's not being banished around, this was the replacement of the banishment. She couldn't be murdered anyway. So.
But they're using the shield very shrewdly at the moment, because they're deliberately not telling if they have the shield. So then that saves the whole group. Yeah,
Next
I know.
That shield is going to have some rules on it.
They found a way around it, didn't
they? Public
to be
shield.
Fair. Who was it who initially realised that? Wasn't it Wilf who kind of...
No, I think it was Hannah.
Was it Hannah?
I think so.
And they realised, it's like, well, if we don't tell you if I've got the shield or not... Because obviously that was meant to be like a kind of like, conspiracy theory twist. But actually it kind of backfired, because another mistake, I'm afraid, production crew. It's backfired on them, because now that kind of saves the whole group. So it's essentially saved all but 4 of them tonight.
Yeah, what they'll have to do next series is say, if you've got the shield, you have to wear it around your neck or something, so people can see it. I guess so. The traitors know.
But the idea is that the traitors make the mistake of trying to murder someone and then finding out that they can't murder them, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
That was what I think the initial point was meant to be. But yeah, Maddie is safe from being murdered. But I have to say, I think Maddie, even at £3,000, with the way how things were with Maddie, I think that Maddie was silly not to take it. I think she should have taken the £3,000.
No, because she knows she's safe, and one day
now.
Yeah, but that gives you one extra day, and in this game, one extra day can.
That's true.
Can change people's opinions.
Because I think Alex would still be in the game if she hadn't refused the invitation to be a traitor. The only reason she got knocked off the game is purely
warning shot that hit, and what was I going to say? I was about to say something then.
I don't know. You've got a very dry throat tonight.
I know. It's very tight.
It's this dry room. We're in a different room than usual tonight recording. So I feel a bit like not quite. I feel like I'm in the armory. I feel like there's a lot of secrets.
We're in an escape room.
Me.
We haven't talked about the mission.
The mission.
They only half did this week. Then only one team did it this week. This episode. Only one team completed it. Well, they both completed it, to be fair, but only one of them completed it in the time. It was a hard mission, to be fair. You had to weigh the maggots. There was maggots, worms, and fish heads, and they had to weigh them in buckets. And then what they were in kilograms was a combination lock for the other room, because the team was split in 2. And the other team then had to find pieces of a fishing rod, hand them to the other room. They then had to hook out the key, and then as a team together, they had a wall where they had to put their hands through and lift a ball out, which had the padlock to get out of the room. But only one team did it, and even that team did it with the skin of their teeth. They had seconds left to get out of there, so that was a really, really tight mission for them to get through this week. And Claudia Winkleman kind of watched from afar through like little gaps in the shed, and just laughed at them the whole time as they got cold water piled onto their heads. I know, that was really horrible. That really cold water all the time.
Yeah, you said while the challenge was going that it was like the Crystal Maze cross with I'm a Celebrity. Celebrity Crystal Maze.
Yeah, we got the maggots for the I'm a Celebrity bush tuckers, and then the Crystal Maze ball with all the hands going through the holes trying to find the key.
And the fishing rod, finding the parts of the fishing rod to then put it over.
And Faye cheated.
She did.
She got a short rod out. She was like,
short rod, long arms.
Yeah, that's what we way.
That's what the boys want.
Yank the key towards her. Done.
Yeah. She. You have to cheat. You have to find a way of winning. So I don't blame
Theo was
her
just
for doing
useless. The second he walked into the room, he was like, I can't do that.
Yeah, I know. Poor
like
Theo.
within less than a second, I feel that he said that, and then Aaron just had to do it all.
It takes very little for Theo to break. Yeah, Aaron really did take control. Like he took control in a lot of it. Like he figured out everything. He figured out there was a magnet that was needed. He figured out that the weight of the buckets was the code. He figured Aaron was a real asset,
doesn't he?
Yeah, he's good. He's very and he's vegan. So I kind of got excited to hear.
Yes, because he had to touch the maggots.
He said he was a bad vegan because he was like throwing maggots into the bucket.
He is one of my favourites, Aaron.
Yeah,
like ever since John was mean to him.
Episode 2.
He's just, I mean, like he's a sweet guy. He's nice and he's friendly. And he's friends with everyone. He's good on games.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I always feel sorry for him because he always looks sad and panicked all the time.
But don't you say that? But I think he's always kind of just. He's watching on and just able to kind of figure people out. I think
when
he's
he was standing up
than
at
he
the
looks.
table and he was waiting for his name to be called out, he looked panicked. He just had his eyes shut the whole time.
Well, he's panicked
please
because
pick me, please.
He doesn't want to repeat his performance, but he doesn't have to worry anymore because that John isn't there kind of just to belittle him all the time. I think John just had a real personal. He was another example of like he didn't like someone, so he picked on them because John really didn't do it to anyone else. He just did it to Aaron, and it was such a silly reason as well. It's not to dwell on it, but I'm about to dwell on it. It was such a stupid reason because he was asking him questions about his job, and John was like, "You're asking lots of questions," and then you got really so moody because of Aaron's reaction to it, which then directly in the next episode, in the first 10 minutes, John reacted in the exact same way. And just his response also when he got murdered is just the way he curled the top lip over his gums to his front. You saw his front 2 teeth. You just thought, oh yeah, you're not a nice person.
Been holding on to this since episode 2.
I have. I've wanted to have a bit of a rant about John because I've kind of not.
Wasn't fair the way he spoke to poor Aaron.
Well, he didn't. The way he spoke to Aaron and he singled Aaron out wasn't fair. And then you could just tell that you just could tell he wasn't real, old John. Yeah, old John. I'm not sad for saying that either. He was just a mean old man. I don't like him. He's cruel. He's cruel.
But we like Aaron. He's one of the top ones on there, I think.
So do you reckon he's going to make it to the end?
No.
Oh, that's a shame.
I think too many people seem to suggest him, don't they? And they've kind of paired him with Wilf, and it's all a bit. If something comes out, then I think they'll both sort of come out together, I guess, even though they're not traitors.
Well, Amanda and Faye had a little chat with each other, and Amanda kind of agreed with Faye about Aaron, kind of her doubts about Faye's doubts about Aaron. She agreed with Faye, and I wondered if maybe Amanda knowingly is in persuading Faye to think that way and to have others to think that way because of the fact that Maddie had brought up that if you got rid of Aaron it's proof that Wilfred is a traitor.
Yeah, but if you get Aaron first and he says, I'm a faithful...
Oh, that's true.
You have to get rid of Will first. But I do wonder if Amanda's a bit questioning Will because at the end, when they were talking secretly about who to kiss and kill...
Well, we'll talk about that in a second.
He put his hands out and she took her hands away from him and then he said something else and then she was like, oh, okay. And then she put her hands on his and I thought, oh...
Well, no, Wilfred said, promise, we again, Wilfred was the one who kind of said, promise you won't do anything. Promise we'll work together on this.
She kept her hands back. She didn't meet his. I noticed that. It was just like a split second. I thought, oh, okay, Amanda, maybe you don't trust him, which is every right to because you do not trust him.
Oh, 100%. Because Wilf has already
because he was going to kill Andrea. And she did that lovely speech and he was still up for killing her.
But this is the thing about Wilf,
horrible
because he says one thing and then does another.
Which is how you're meant to do it, because then no one will suspect you, I guess. But...
Yeah, but Wilf said to again after he got the message that they had to kill in plain sight. So we were last episode we discussed what we thought they meant by killed in plain sight, and we came up with a lot of theories. We came up with like giving someone a poisoned chalice or something.
Not too dissimilar.
Well,
a kiss. It's like Game of Thrones with your poison lipstick.
Yeah, so one of them, either Wilf or Amanda, had to basically kiss the one they wanted to murder. But obviously they couldn't kiss anyone else, and they had to do it before midnight. And as you say, Wilf wanted Andrea out, and he was adamant. He was like, I don't care what Amanda says. I'm going to push it, and I'm going to make sure that Amanda's the one.
She really trusts me. and likes me.
Yeah.
And everyone knows that, so I'm going to kill her.
But I don't think Wilf's got his way. I really don't think he's got his way.
No, I don't. I hope not.
No, I hope not too, because Amanda's speech today was...
That's 2 episodes
really
now
sweet.
where she's done little speeches. It's like,
She's very sweet, and so I hope she hasn't been. But
who are the other ones up for the option? Theo.
There's Aaron, Theo, Andrea, and there was one more. Amos. Sorry.
Yeah.
I think it's Amos. So
no, they said it won't be Aaron because Aaron likes Wilfred and he likes Amanda.
Yeah, it's not Aaron.
He's safe.
I think it might be Amos because he was up for the chop last
Theo?
time. No.
I think it'd be cleverer. I think to get rid of Theo would be the smartest thing because that's like a bit random.
Really though, because I don't think Theo's a threat in any way. He's kind of as we've said before, he kind of just has floated along. He's just kind of been there, and
that's what I mean. It's a bit of an easy because they put this thing where it has to be done in public. It's kind of made the traitors think like I can't be as ruthless as I want because you're sort of meeting the person you're about to kill. Do you know what I mean? Like looking them in the eyes as you kill them. So I wonder if they'll choose an easier one to do. And also,
would you say Theo would be easier because he's always looking a bit like I'm Theo, and he called Kieran his daddy in this episode, so Daddy there's Kieran. A love interest there. If I was a producer, I wouldn't want that to be ended anytime soon, especially with those slow-mo shots.
We had topless Emils today, didn't we, to continue his storyline of him being clean all the time.
You could see a knock on Theo's door and you just see him opening up and Kieran stood there winking. That would be like the slow-mo for the next one.
Interesting, Amanda was the one who said that she would do it. So I wonder if you can work out...
Amanda don't care, that's what I mean.
So
Amanda
not just
wouldn't give a
but
monkey.
is it easier for her to kiss the person without it looking weird? Like, make it looking naturally rather than Wilfred doing it. So could you maybe narrow down who they've killed that way?
Would it be easier for Amanda to kiss a man? Would it be easier for a woman to kiss a man or a woman while a man... it might be a little easier to kiss.
If it is Andrea, she could just hug and kiss goodbye. But I don't know if...
Yeah, Wilf might look a little bit
I did wonder if Wilf was going to do that. Well, after Andrea did her speech, he went over and hugged her. And I thought, are you about to just murder her now?
I thought that without speaking to Amanda. Again, can you imagine if Wilf had done that? I genuinely wonder what Amanda's reaction would be.
Wouldn't it have been amazing if Amanda did it to Wilf when they went to talk secretly? She just did it.
Well, they did kiss. Remember? And Wilf looked up and said, "This isn't the murder."
Yeah, but imagine if she did it and then she was like, "Yeah, you." He might.
Yeah, but he would know then, wouldn't he? He would be aware that he'd been kissed by her and what the rules were, because that's why I said he reacted immediately as soon as they kissed each other to say, "Right, we've made our decision." Wilf looked up at the where the cameras were and said, "This wasn't it. This wasn't the one. This isn't us murdering." Because technically, they would have murdered each other at that point because they both kissed each other on the cheek. That would have been an outcome, wouldn't it? We've both decided we want to end the game and we're going to kill ourselves.
Well, I think
suicidal.
I think Theo is a likely choice.
I can't see Theo.
It'd be easier to just hug him goodnight if I was Amanda. I'm putting myself in Amanda's shoes here and seeing who I can hug and kiss without people
Amanda
looking at me.
hug and kiss.
Yes.
Amanda hug and kiss.
And I think Theo, because he's quite huggy and cryy and, I think that would be...
No.
And I wonder if people will notice, like, the next episode when they'll be like... I wonder how much information Claudie's going to say, like, the person who was murdered at the party was because... I wonder how much she's going to give away for them to try and work out. Because that could be really dangerous. The Amanda's saying, "Oh, I'll do it," to Wilfred, "I'll kiss them." That could be quite dangerous for her. Because if someone works out that she did something to the person who got murdered, they're all going to point fingers at her.
Well, in the trailer, at the end of the episode, we're going to think a little ahead. Claudia does say something to the table because a couple of the sound bites is that they mention that it was done. The murder was done in the open, not secretly. I don't know if Claudia would say outright this is how it was done, but I think it is gestured.
Yeah, maybe it will be something like the murder took place during the dinner party or something, because then they could think it could be the game that they played where they were standing up and sitting down or whatever.
You could mention Wilf. Why did Wilf make the gesture to get up, walk over? And
that's true.
So that
and he picked Faye as his like most likely to be.
Well, that's another
Hannah
thing.
And Faye were all talking like that, and like Faye was like, "Why would he pick me?"
Well, this is it. This was another thing that came up when they were playing the game. So they had to nominate who they most trusted in the group, one by one. And as each person gets chosen, that person then had to sit down, and that person can't be chosen again.
I was getting worried for Meryl for a second.
Meryl was out. It was in
she's
like
the
first
final
three.
Final three. She was. It was Maddie.
Meryl.
Meryl.
Sorry. I'm thinking of someone else. Yes, I know. Meryl looked really upset.
I know. I was
didn't she?
worried for her, but she was all right.
Again, it felt like choosing your team at school, and we all know how that felt. Well, not the popular kids, but we all know anyone listening to this knows. I'm winking. I'm talking to you guys. You know how it felt like when you were the last two stood there, and you're stood next to the guy who's got his shoes on his hands and his socks on his ears. And you're like, why am I not being chosen here? Yeah, no, poor Meryl, bless her. But
anyway,
Hannah wasn't chosen
Hannah.
by Will.
Yes, and they were best
she
buds.
Was quite offended by that, wasn't she? To the point that later on, she point blank wouldn't speak to him. Some might say childlike, but I don't blame her. It's upsetting when you think that this is your friend, this is the person you trusted the most, and they're not.
And the fact that she then discussed it with Faye, and Faye agreed with her because he picked her, and she didn't know why would
Faye's
he pick
like
me. So,
but Wilf said that he did it to get her on side, to get her.
It didn't work.
They saw through it. That's the point. They saw through his tactic.
Just looking a bit
this
dodgy.
is again another point that I've said on numerous occasions that Wilf is not a very good game player.
No, he's just lucked.
He's lucked out being a traitor, and he's lucked out that he's a traitor with Amanda, who's an exceptional game player.
Through that conversation, because Aaron was there, and he was like, "Can't we just all get along and not talk about it?" It's like they might see that as like, "Oh, you're sticking up for Wilf again." Maddie proved herself to be faithful. Maybe Maddie's on the side, and they'll go for Aaron instead of Wilf. Probably, but he seems to have the luck, doesn't he?
Wilf has the luck because he's got good people. Well, he's lucky because he's got Amanda on his side. But it's how long will Amanda?
On tomorrow's episode as well, didn't she?
This is it. How long will Amanda defend him for? It looks like Amanda's now had enough of Wilf's bull and kind of wants to do it. I would honestly think that Amanda could do it alone easily, 100%. I genuinely think Amanda could do it alone.
Less suspicion if there's just one traitor, isn't there?
It's a difficult target to hit because there's only one of them. And how many's
and
that?
Everyone
like 12?
Trusts Amanda as well. Like lots of people really trust her. Like Theo trusts her. Faye did trust her until we saw that trailer for tomorrow's episode. Andrea said like they were quite close. So she's got some really strong people to not even point a finger at her. So she's still my winner. I want her to win.
I think Amanda could. I think Amanda could 100% win it on her own as a traitor. She doesn't need Wilf. Wilf is almost dead wood. He's dragging her down. He's the dangerous. Yeah, I could honestly see Wilf landing Amanda in it, and then
I'd always have that in my mind if I was Amanda.
100%.
What he did to Alyssa was so like, and that was face to face as well.
But that was deliberate. I genuinely think that if Wilf was going to get Amanda, in trouble, I think it would be completely accidental. But again, like I said, he begged Amanda, we got to stick together. We got to make sure that we're, helping each other out. Let's not backstab one another. And he's done it. He did the exact same thing with Alyssa. Exact same thing with Alyssa.
I know.
I would not trust Wilf. No. I would trust him as far as I can throw him.
There's a third traitor, then maybe.
I don't think she does though. I think Amanda could do it on her own. 100%. 100% Amanda could win this on her own as a traitor.
I do want a new traitor to be in it though, just for fun. Like I just want to see what their reaction would be like, because they'll find out who the traitors are then, and it'll be interesting to see someone's reaction. For me, I'm not fussed about that. I just want to see Amanda win. I want to see Amanda win because she totally deserves it. She's done so well to get to this point, and especially having to work with Will. Who, let's be honest, he's not helpful, and he's lucked his way to here. Even though all the players are dirty, but he's quite a dirty player, I feel. I just think I don't think he's smart enough to be considered dirty player, because you have to be pretty calculated to be a dirty player, and I don't think he's calculated. I think he literally goes into one situation to another, kind of ad hocly coming up with solutions to problems that may or may not exist.
And luckily, Amanda's able to keep him on kiln and on the straight and on course. But then as soon as he's like untethered from her for like more than 5 seconds, he then flies off and does something stupid again. Like tonight, I noticed that when Amanda, when the game started around the dinner table, and Amanda was the first one to choose who she trusted the most, Wilf was so obvious. If people weren't looking at Amanda and were looking at Wilf, it was so obvious that he had some kind of connection to Amanda, one that's not obvious to the group. Like, because in social circles, they're not particularly two people who kind of interact with one another.
Purposely kept away from each other.
Exactly. Yeah. And he as soon as she, like, Claudia said, who do you trust the most? Wilf looked down straight down at the table and crossed his hands in front of him. And that's almost like a childlike kind of like, don't look at me situation. And so that's such an obvious tell, and people missed it. This is what I mean, silly little things like that. I don't know. I don't think Wilf is long for the game.
Amanda
anymore.
fan, happy for her to win. If a traitor wins, then
I want Amanda to win, and I want Amanda. Well, there's no other way unless there's going to be a twist where traitors can become faithful, but then that would be weird.
No.
Yeah.
So what if faithful then? What about 2 faithfuls that are left over? Who would you like to see win? 2 of them.
Aaron, 100%.
Aaron is one. What about just Aaron?
No, I think with faithful. Sorry.
Fuck off.
That's what she thinks of Aaron. Was it Aaron she said that to? I'm sure Andrea did, didn't she?
She was pissed off with Aaron because Aaron was taking too long trying to solve the puzzle in the puzzle room. That was yeah.
Fuck off.
I don't think Andrea will win.
I think Wilfred would have killed her because he's so ruthless and mean.
If Wilfred stays for long enough, I think Aaron will be the final, and possibly could win. Maybe Maddie, and I don't know why. Maddie's the one who I think is
getting quite a lot of screen time, isn't she? Like a quite good edit as it goes through.
I've got a feeling Maddie, if they were to recruit a new traitor, is the one that they'll be looking at now. Because people, I think they'll be thinking that maybe she is more trusted. Because even Amanda tonight was like, excuse my crude Welsh accent, she was like, we totally trust you now. Sorry to anyone.
Fuck off.
Quite right. But she made a big announcement to the whole group that now, again, and people listen, they hang on every word on Amanda. And she basically said to the group, now we trust Maddie.
Yeah, you've proven yourself.
Yeah, so I think that if they get an opportunity to, I suppose it'd be the next time they get to choose to recruit or murder, I think they should try Maddie. They should test the ground with Maddie. And I think because
I don't think Maddie would accept though.
No, I think she will, because I think she feels like she's made a bit of a cock up not taking the $3,000. I think she wanted to her will to make the group like her, to make this group of people like her, was stronger than the actual winning mentality. And at the start of the game, she always wanted to win. And now I don't think that's the case. I think she just wants people to. She put herself in a very unique situation where people kind of singled her out. She didn't like that. Now she wants to be part of the group again. And I think if she was introduced as being a traitor, I think she'd be more embracing of it than she would have been a few days ago. I don't think she would never have done it, but I think now she might have.
Yeah, and I wonder, because it's not too long till the game ends. It's like there's a few episodes left. Do you think there's a time where you've been faithful for so long, then you're literally too faithful to become a traitor? Do you think? Like you're too in that game of trying to find them rather than wanting to now switch things up. I wonder when the cut-off point of it being too late to.
But then I would flip that on the head, and that is right at the end. If you made it right to the end of the game, and you say like two more days left, or even a day left, and you were then introduced or considered to be a traitor, would you then think this is a perfect time to do it? Because the possibility of me being banished is so small now as a traitor. I could win this almost by default. Tricky. But I 100%. Basically, Aaron, faithful, Amanda, traitor. So they're the 2 I want to win.
Okay.
Better
Meryl's
still,
in third.
Meryl
With her wheelbarrow.
Meryl's the people's champion with her wheelbarrow. Her wheelbarrow of barrels.
She's the people's choice.
She's the people's choice. If there was what was the award they used to give on Drag Race? Miss Congeniality. Miss Congeniality, 100%. Meryl.
Not John?
No. No, not John. And if I could put my finger on that soundboard right now, then you know very well what button I would be pressing.
That one?
Fuck off.
Exactly. No,
But
not
I
John.
think you actually made a monumental fuck up.
That one?
That's actually poo.
That one?
All three of them. Why not all three? Aye. Yeah, no way, John. No way, John.
But yeah, Meryl's a miscongeniality if she's not into the end.
Mm.
But I don't know, she always seems to scrape through, doesn't she? Even though she gets things pointed out or nearly picked last.
I love
She's
Meryl.
still going. Yeah,
She's
like her
fantastic. They should do, at the end of like this is mainly an American thing on reality shows. Like they do it on Real Housewives. They've done it on Drag Race. I think they do it on other reality shows too. But they basically get the cast together and they do a after show kind of talk. And so they're all kind of like sat together in a kind of in a group, and they ask them questions like, "So, how did you feel when you got banished, Alyssa, by your own traitor friends?" And have them kind of talk to one another. They should do that. Yeah. They should do that little like show. What do we call?
I would offer to do it, but you've just been talking about John for about 10 minutes, so I don't think I can invite him on.
Oh, John would be interesting actually, because I bet you he'd really be like a real bitch and be a right queen about the whole
might
thing.
Not be.
Well,
He really saw a little bit edited of him down, so you never know.
Prove me wrong.
Well, when I make a reunion show in a few weeks,
the Traitors reunion special,
I'm going to get you on 1-to-1 with Meryl and then John and then Aaron.
That's fine.
Finish.
That's fine. And then can I do an interview with Claudia Winkleman about her time on the show? Because I was thinking today that like
I'm going to hire Tom to do some magic tricks during it.
The world's best magician.
Yeah, his career's not over.
He's on those cruise ships. Those cruise ships, the lines are not they're coming off the walls. I'm
going to buy Ivan's book and read that. I'm going to have Maddie's episode of EastEnders on in the background.
What about Casualty?
I'm going to get Claire, the police lady. She's going to interview some people for me. It's all going on my reunion. Matt's going to do some BMXing.
That'd be good. To what? To like a Blink-182 song?
To Maddie's EastEnders scene.
Yeah, he does tricks. It's a bit like Strictly when they get a singer on and they do the dancers in front of them. You just basically have BMX tricks.
To Maddie's homeless scene.
Maddie recreates the whole scene behind him on stage.
I think it sounds like a great reunion for Traitors Series 1.
There you go. That's what they need to do. There you go. BBC, you can pay us later.
Get Ryan in. He can write up all my lawyer stuff so I don't get sued by any of the contestants.
He's a trainee, so he's
fine.
not
Yeah, I can write some stuff up for me. It's all good.
Could we get Claire her arm as well as a surprise, like her bionic arm?
That's not Claire. That's what was her name? Wasn't it Kerry? Claire was the policewoman. No, Claire was the police lady.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, sorry, but I'm sorry, Claire. And Nikki,
that was it. Yeah.
Sorry, Nikki. It's this is.
She's got a GoFundMe for her bionic arm. Actually,
has she?
Yeah, I saw it.
We should put the link on our show notes.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope she gets it. I totally 100% hope she. Although it does crack me up, like that conversation, episode 1, when they were like, "What would you spend the money on? Would it spend on buying a new house so you can move out from your parents, looking after the kids?" Just an arm. She just wants an arm.
Yeah.
I don't blame her.
And then once we've done the reunion, we'll hire Alex, the social media lady, to promote it for us. The social media star. So, we're getting them all working afterwards.
Well, I'm glad.
Aaron can bring the vegan canapes.
Thank you, Aaron. I'd appreciate that. What about Ivan? What's he going to do?
Ivan, I'm buying his game book.
Right.
Who else am I missing? Andrea can tell us some stories and tell us to fuck off.
She can just sit there and tell us to fuck off every 5 seconds. Yeah.
Hannah, she can do a comedian set.
Oh yeah, she can do a stand-up
in between
act.
in the break.
Yeah. Well, no, she could cut to the break and come out. Hang on, those are the BBC. There are no breaks.
No, this is our after-party show.
Oh, okay.
On the podcast. And Amos can take phone calls and do some diagnosis.
Excellent.
Like Embarrassing Bodies on Channel 4 because he's a doctor.
Can we have Murder on the Dance Floor as our intro music?
That's what Amanda will come into.
Yeah.
She'll dance to that.
That was a genius piece of music, that, wasn't it? And again, Aaron was the only one who spotted it.
Well, I don't think he purposely spotted it. He was just kind of singing along and saying, "Ha murder." And then it's like, oh no, there is going to be a murder, Aaron.
There's literally going to be a murder on the dance floor right now.
There you go. So we've got our reunion show set up then.
Excellent. If
Everyone
anyone wants to...
everyone get in contact and we'll get it all written up.
Anyone who's been on the Traitors and they want to join us on our reunion show, please feel free to get in touch. We're on our Twitter at Traitors Podcast.
John can be doing massages in between.
Yeah.
Because he's a spa.
You can do it in the car park. Or email us, faithfultothetraitors@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm. And on Twitter. Have you said Twitter?
Traitors Podcast, at Traitors Podcast.
And review us.
Don't forget to review us.
Got quite a lot of reviews on Spotify.
Thank you, everyone who's been reviewing us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
We made the charts.
We are. We're the third
most popular
TV and film podcast on Spotify.
In the UK.
This is a UK-based show,
yes.
so it's fine by me.
Very happy with that.
Thank you to everyone who's got in touch with us and and reviewing us. And as you say, tell your friends if you watch the Traitors and you go to work and you're at the water cooler and you all go chat. Don't forget, you can say, hey, you know what? There's a really good podcast. Or there's a podcast that I listen to.
They're doing a really good reunion show. Which
and they're
going to
do a reunion
budget.
show. Yeah. We've got a budget of at least £10.50 and a Pax of Polo. And that's what we're going to do. So that's the plan.
Right,
maybe some cheesy Wotsits in a bowl.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Oh, we should have pineapples on sticks.
No. That's gross.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Not a fan.
Pineapple on pizza, yeah or no?
Yeah. No.
Nothing to do with the show.
Disgusting. Anyway, there you go. So that's another episode reviewed or discussed. I don't know what we do. And then we'll be back. The last one tomorrow, isn't it? Last one of the week tomorrow.
Yeah, and then there's only 3 more after that. And then the reunion special.
Well, there you go then. So I hope you enjoyed another episode of Faithful to the Traitors. And we'll see you again tomorrow.